Welcome back, fight fans, for another podcast. It's MMA Huddle here with my bro Will and me, John. Look, there's some stuff going on this week. We had the MMA trade, which was really left field, but it happens. Who knows, in the future there could be more MMA trades going on. We've just had Smith and Volkov card happen. Some good finishes in that card. Some good promotional work as well with DC, leaving us pondering how and what he's going to do with the light heavyweight division and what's going to go on with the champ. But before all that, before we go any further with any of the discussions, please hit that subscribe button down below if you're watching us on YouTube. Give us a follow. Every person that does, it's a great help to us, and we it shows that you guys actually care. So and enjoy what we're doing, because we're going to keep pumping out these videos, because like I said, we got a fight card every weekend until the end of the year, so it's ridiculously exciting. And Will, how did you see the MMA trade, so to speak? You know, the rumors of it went out there, but how did you feel about that happening, and what's your thoughts on some of the kind of stuff that's happened this week?
Well, when I heard about the trade, I was like, I looked at it, and I was like, that's not real. Because sometimes you look at there's people that make stuff off Twitter and whatever, and you're like, that's not really. And I'll look, and it was Ariel. I think it was Brett Okamoto.
Yeah.
I was looking at the name just to see if there's something up, if somebody's like put an extra letter in there, just to see what's going on. And then it was like Ariel did it, and I was like, and then it was like, oh, this shit's actually going down. It's actually going to happen. And I was very surprised, a wee bit annoyed and upset, for the simple fact that I think DJ is just he's such a really good fighter, but the UFC have just clearly have no time for him, really, and it's a shame, because I think the guy has the potential to. He's got a big fan base out there if the UFC knows how to use it correctly, and by him going to Asia, I think he will make himself a lot bigger star than what he is right now. I really do. But it might not be the end of ever seeing Demetrius ever fight in the UFC again. He might go over there for a couple of years, make his money, beat guys that are really going to do nothing for his legacy. His legacy is pretty much already set. It's the best flyweight there's ever been. So, but having Ben Askren over, it's a little bit of a clusterfuck. I like to say. I think he's riling some people up. I think he's very, very good in social media. He's not great to watch fighting, but he is very, very effective with his fighting, and he doesn't take much damage. And maybe that's why we were talking about this. You said he was 34 years old, but he's really taken no damage. And I've seen people out there saying he's beat no people. He beat Kreshkov, he beat Lima. They're legit fighters over there, and he did that years ago as well when they were coming up. And I still think he would beat them right now. But like I don't know, I'm really interested to see who they match him up with. I think he's a bad matchup for a lot of people in the top of that division. But it is a clear step up to anything that he has faced before. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on. I hope Demetrius I hope they kind of treat him like a king, and everything kind of goes well for him. But I am a little bit upset how they kind of treat him, because he is great. He's a really great guy, and I just think there's like a great fighter and a great guy. He just kind of deserved a little bit more from the UFC, but it's business at the end of the day. They're all happy with it by the looks of it. And we had the card last night. There was some fun fights. I actually, for the first time in a long time, never watched. I watched the Fight Pass prelims and a couple of the early prelims, I think, and then I was like, going to bed, and sometimes I'll be lying in bed, and I'll be like, oh, this fight's on, I should be up watching. But last night was like, I really did not really care too much. And then I got up this morning and just watched them with the little one while she was playing with her toys in the corner there. So, but no, it was the fight. Some of the fights were good. The early prelims were good. Some of the knockouts. Don Madge, that was a vicious knockout. That's a vicious knockout that guy delivered, and looked very, very dangerous. Stevie Ray got a win, obviously, so I was happy about that. And then there was a couple of bets that I kind of missed out on with Talita and Smith, which kind of pissed me off a little bit, but I still had a small profitable night, so I'm moving on to 230 with that. But overall, it was a decent card, and it was a kind of weird kind of week for the UFC, and there was a whole Conor and Khabib thing, which I think is finally starting to fly under the kind of radar now, and it's starting to go a bit quiet. But then I saw Ali tweet something earlier on saying something's wrong with that.
Big news.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's about. So hopefully maybe him versus Tony, but I doubt that's going to happen anytime soon. So
yeah. They keep falling apart that fight.
Yeah.
Either both of them get injured or something like that, or I don't know. Let's just not hold our breath.
Just announce it the day before, and then just get them to make up show weight.
Do what they did in the last card and fight other guys, and then just the other two guys go, look, lads, pretend you fell out the bath and banged your head, and we're going to put them two together. That's all they have to do. Just easy. Yeah. Just lie to both of the guys. They won't care. They'll still sign up to the scrap. So look, we're going to go to UFC 230 in New York in Madison Square Garden. The card, the pay-per-view card of the year. It's like, this is what they would be classed as one of their showcase cards, and it was a mess. Let's be honest. Like, absolute. This is a flop, is the best way to put it. Ticket sales are woeful. Their organisation, to be fair, it's not their fault that Diaz and Poirier fell through, which was a huge part of the card. You know, that fight alone was, you know, what a lot of people were tuning in for. Just that alone is a co-main event. But look, we're going to go into it. We're going to start down the bottom, work our way up. And I'm going to use, I don't know the exact fight schedule, but the fight schedule I've got here. And it started off with a heavyweight bout. We have the Polish 6'5" Adam Vorshak against Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, who's started his career at heavyweight, then went light heavyweight, middleweight, tried to go light heavyweight, missed weight, and now he's up to heavyweight again. Will, it's a mess. I don't know. God, that dude has some yo-yo weight cuts. But what's your view on this fight, bro? Kick us all off.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to seeing Ruslan Magomedov again after his USADA ban. He was out for a couple of years, and I was interested to see, because he was quite promising as a prospect coming through a couple of years ago before that ban. I was looking forward to seeing. I thought he had a matchup pretty much tailor-made for him. He was going to counter-strike with him, but then he pulled out, and Vijarek's came in here, and Vijarek's coming off that submission over Arjun Bula last night. But what I was thinking last night when I was watching, and I bet Marcelo Gome last night, but there's definitely, when you think about the heavyweight division, you've got your elite guys, your guys who are promising, and then you've just got a whole lot of absolute shizer at the kind of bottom of it. And I would put two of these people definitely in that kind of category. But he is coming off a win. He's a guy I think it gets backed up a little bit too easy, and he's a guy that can get taken down easy. But he's obviously got some skills in the ground. If you put your body in the wrong place, he will find a way. De Lima, big power hitter. He's kind of KO or bust, because if he doesn't get you early, he's probably gonna get taken out. But you know what? I don't think the Polish guy's all that good. And I saw the betting line for this, and De Lima's a big underdog. And I think he could most definitely catch Vijarek. I was going to go with Vijarek, but I'm going to turn it up, and I'm going to go with De Lima by knockout. I think he's just going to come out, plant his feet, push him against the cage, and I don't think it takes much from this guy to put you down. So if it goes after 3 minutes, I think that Vijarek has a 75% plus chance of winning this fight, because De Lima just gasses really badly, and he's not the greatest fighter you're ever going to see in the world. But I'm going to go a first round knockout for Marcos de Lima.
Nice. I like it. If I'm honest, I think Adam can do light heavyweight. He weighed in his last fight at 232 pounds. I know that's a lot, but at the same time, folks, he's 6'5". He's probably got a lot he can cut off him. He has got the thing in this fight is reach and length. He's got a big advantage. He's got height advantage. It feels like 6-7 inch height advantage, and a reach advantage of about 6 or 7 inches again. So that is huge. But the problem is Adam doesn't know how to use it. Hasn't got a clue how to use reach. It doesn't do range. He doesn't have an idea about how he could easily just pick guys away. He is like a short Stefan Struve. He relies on his height a lot, where he leans back when guys strike. If you double up on your strikes, you'll land on his chin every time on that second punch. Like you said, you're right there about Lima, man. He hits. He's like a Sean Jordan, just a chubby heavyweight. Can't be bothered to cut properly. Let's be honest. He just can't bother cutting. He just wants to scrap, and he just throws heavy. He just swings, but he misses a lot of his kicks. Likes to throw those leg kicks a lot, and then a couple of head kicks, but he misses a lot because he's got no idea about range. He literally just sees a body in front of him, thinks he can hit it, and he throws it. He's got poor range finding, but as long as you back up Adam, Adam's not going to do much from there because I don't think he offers enough. I don't think he's that as an aggressive. I don't think he's aggressive heavyweight. I'm going to go with Lima as well. I think Lima's actually going to chop his legs away and slow Adam down for Lima to get the strikes in. I don't think Adam's got the footwork to get out of there. And I'm going second round because I think I go second round knockout instead. Then I go second round knockout / TKO because I think the leg kicks. I think Lima will land the leg kicks and he'll start to, because I don't think he'll go for that many head kicks because of quite a bit of height advantage. Yeah, so I think predominantly he's going to be just chopping those body kick and leg kicks at him, slow Adam down a lot. And we saw, Buller did really well those leg kicks and sucked it up like a man. And dude, I know in a post-fight interview you were like, "I'm fine." You're not. Mm-hmm. Inside, you had 1,000 souls screaming, mate. That was horrendous. But yeah, I'm going to go with Lima here as well, bro. Second round, I'll go with TKO because both of them are atrocious. Anyway, next up, interesting bantamweight bout. You got Brian Kelleher against Montel Jackson. It's an interesting bout because Brian Kelleher is, pushing on in his career. It's getting to that stage where it's title shot or bust, so to speak, in a kind of where he'd like to get to with his career. And for Montel Jackson, it's kind of only kicking off. Let's be honest. I think this is it's kind of a bit of a step up for him in terms of who opponents you could give Montel, but they obviously see something in it that can give them Brian some trouble. Let's look at the John Lineker fight. Anyone who stands in front of John Lineker is going to have a bad day in the office. TJ Dillashaw showed you what to do. You get in, you run out a lot quicker, all right? And you just let Lineker punch thin air, and when he's over-aggressive, shoot in, get him down, and that's how you beat him. It's a very simple process. Just rinse and repeat it, and then you get the win. Kelleher he said in his interviews before when he had that fight, it's like, I'm just going to go, we're going to stand toe-to-toe. And kudos, he did, and he got dropped, he got rocked a few times. And that kind of irked me a bit. And I was like, dude, you can do it for the fans, but, man, how's that going to affect you coming into your next fight? Montel, man, I like him as a fighter. I think he can keep Brian just at range. I think he can just keep Brian away from landing those heavier shots. I'm going to go for Montel on this one. It sounds a bit. I'm going to go Montel Jackson. I think that he can just keep Brian away. I think Montel's not that easy to take down. I don't think for Brian to even get him down. So I think he's going to stay on the feet. I think Brian's going to have a problem with the range, closing Montel down. I think Montel's going to be a lot more active. He's not going to be standing in front of him too long, and I think he's just going to have enough to get a decision win here by just picking away at Brian. Because I think Brian, he is tough. He's a tough dude. He can take a licking. And Montel's not a guy who's going to pop you with one shot and put you to sleep. There's not many guys like John Lineker floating about where they crack you and they put you. And I think Montel's just going to pick him away, and I think he's going to get the decision win here. I'm going to go Mr. Jackson.
Mm. Yeah,
it's a tough one, but yeah,
this is a weird one because like the opening betting lines for this were Montel was a big underdog, and it's been flipped round to where he's a big favourite now, and Kelleher's an underdog, and I'm like, interesting. Montel Jackson is a guy I actually really like his skill set. I think he's a young guy. He's going to have a really fun future, I think, in the UFC or wherever he wants to fight. Obviously, most of us probably seen him in the Dana White show against Julio. Julio took a lot of licks in that fight and kept himself in there, but eventually he kind of got broken down. The kind of length of Jackson really kind of took the Julio apart and they end up there. And then he faced Ricky Simon in his official UFC debut. And Ricky Simon he's another really, really good fighter that with a very promising future. He's all action. He's a go. He doesn't stop. He's in your face. He's looking to take you down. And that's just what happened. Ricky's just kind of pressure was a little bit too much for someone like Montel Jackson, but you could see in that fight that Montel's definitely got some things in there that's going to cause a lot of people a lot of problems. Initially, I was on Brian Kelleher, and then I watched a couple of fights of Montel Jackson, and I think I'm going to go with him in this one. I can see. I don't understand why he's so big a favourite over someone like Kelleher, because Kelleher's got a lot of fights. He must be coming up close to 30 fights.
I think he's close. Isn't he close to 40? No, I thought he was more close to 40. He could be right, yeah.
Yeah, 19-9 is his record.
Oh, sorry, there you go.
So yeah, he's beat some good fighters. He beat Julio Arce, who's on here. Alcantara's always a tough guy. Beating Henan Barao in 2018 is not really a big thing, but he did look fairly dominant in that fight again. But he has lost a lot of fights, so I think the opportunity is there for someone like Montel Jackson to come in here, fight at distance, and just absolutely outclass him. But I think that he's going to fight close. But I think Montel might just get the nod in this one here. So I'm going to go Montel Jackson. Fairly close decision, but it wouldn't surprise me if I seen Brian Kelleher get his hand raised.
Okay, bro, nice. Next up, man, I do love this guy. Featherweight bout, Shane Burgos against Kurt Holobaugh. Man, that's going to be a fun fight. How do you see that one going?
I like Shane Burgos a lot, but I think Holobaugh is a really, really tough guy. And it's a big fight for Burgos because he's coming off, I think it's his first loss in his career, and it's pretty devastating. The finishing, we spoke about this last week, the finishing sequence from Calvin Kattar's knockout in combination in that fight was brutal. Now, he did have spots in that fight where he was landing. He's got some really good technical striking himself, some really good head movement, some really good feints, some really good footwork. So his striking is the Tiger Schulman guys are always very, very well-rounded fighters. And well-taught fighters. You can see that just by watching them. If you watch Jimmy Rivera, they've got tendencies which are really, really good. They're spot on. They've worked in it. Shane Burgos the same. Lyman Good's another one that's we've seen with that. Julio Arce, who's fighting here, is another guy. Really good, solid team. So they're all similar weight classes as well. So they're all training together, and I like that with a camp, especially this one here, when the majority of them are all on the same card. But Holobaugh, if he can make it dirty and get off to a quick start and start to put it on Burgos, then Burgos maybe has to start pushing himself, and Holobaugh could cause some problems in this fight. And I think he maybe needs to try and look for takedowns. I don't think he can stand in the pocket too much with someone like a Shane Burgos, because Burgos is, when he wants to be, he can be a very, very devastating striker. So I think it's one of these fights where Shane Burgos is going to be very kind of frustrated. I think he'll land a lot, but he'll realise that you can't put everybody down. And Holobaugh is that kind of one of those guys that if you don't put him down early, he's going to be in the fight the whole entire time. I'm going to go Shane Burgos via decision.
Ooh, nice. Kurt is, he is a guy who's a pain in the backside. He is. He can stand. He can throw. He's grappling strong. He's always conditioned, and he can take a hit. You know, so he is. He's all round a very good, solid fighter. You know, I know his last fight he got stopped, But the problem was in that fight. I think that it was the aggression that caught Holobaugh off, and he just went at it toe to toe, and he just got the macho man in him. He just went, like, okay, cool, let's just stand. I was like, Kurt, you could have just clinched up there. The problem the problem you've got with Shane is he's not that easy to get down, in the sense of his hands are always so low. So it really discourages guys from wrestling with him, because he's always got his hands so low. So if you're wanting to shoot in for the takedown, you know straight away he's going to get those underhooks, and it's really discouraging. So that's why don't see a lot of guys just constantly want to shoot on him. The best thing you can do is to, I would say, not throw punches to get the takedown. I would say, just throw like a head kick, and that would maybe encourage him to maybe want to put his hands up to block, to open up the opportunity for a takedown. You throw the head kick, instead of bringing the leg back to yourself to reset. As you land a kick, you land it straight down to step in. But I don't think Holobaugh's got that in his arsenal. I think Shane's going to just get the shots off, keep Kurt just away enough, and I think I'm going to go second round finish for Shane here, because the dude cracks, like he cracks, and I think he'll get his range during the fight, and the frustration that Kurt will have with not maybe getting the takedowns in, not getting close enough, will open up a couple of opportunities that Shane will see. I'm going to go crazy. Second round stoppage for Shane. Let's go to the... I think it's a bit of a strange one, this, for the kind of main event for the prelims, the UFC prelims. Matt Frevola against Lando Vannata. Kind of caught me off guard, this one, when they announced it for that. I kind of thought, well, I would start the card with this one. I've interviewed Matt in the past, Titan FC days. He's not evolved from what he did back on Titan to what he's doing now, and that's what kind of catches me a bit. It kind of bugs me a little bit. He's very kind of aggressive with his strike. When he comes forward, he'll charge, leaving himself open. Like, honestly, if Stephen Thompson could fight him every week, he would. He'd absolutely clip him. He'll cut back, angle, pop, done. So yeah, Matt Frevola, for me, he hasn't done enough over the years, like, to evolve his game enough to be strong, to get past guys in the UFC level. Regional scene, you can get away with it, a couple of fights. You can get the decisions going your way from being the aggressor, landing a couple more shots, because you're so aggressive. You might not give the other guy time to come back with enough strikes. But from the wrestling, he's nothing special with the wrestling. His grappling's nothing exceptional. He's just like an okay kind of fighter. Lando Vannata, I'm surprised if the UFC still kept him, considering like the way fights have gone for him. I feel he's too flashy and not focusing on putting a little bit more pop into his shots. He reminds me of a Cub Swanson, mixing up lots of shots, lots of strikes, and just not having that finishing strike. Not hitting you and putting you away. He did it. Like, I know he landed a couple against Tony Ferguson, but I've never really seen it enough since then. But then again, this is the fight made for Lando Vannata. I think the UFC kind of are favouring Lando here, and they want to keep him in there because he is a bit of an entertaining guy. And this is the kind of fight for him. I think if Lando can just use his footwork, back up, counter strike, he will land on Matt all day long. So I am going to go for Lando Vannata, even though I'm not overly keen on either guy. I just think Lando can actually land a couple of counter strikes, and I think he'll stop Matt. I'm going to go with a TKO. I'll probably go early rounds, 1 or 2. I just think Lando could get that shot in.
Yeah, it's all about fundamentals over flash, I think.
Yeah.
I think if he gets back to his fundamental striking, I mean, Brandon Gibson built this guy up. And I know from watching some interviews with Brandon Gibson that he's all about fundamentals, but he's all about also letting the fighters explore their kind of other side and be a little bit flashy and do other things. And that's what Lando Vannata is. He's very unpredictable. He's very unorthodox, but you can definitely see he's got some skills there. But you can definitely see that you can find ways around it to beat him as well. And we've seen that in his UFC venture. Now, he's lost to good guys. Let's don't beat around the bush. Tony Ferguson, he had a great fight there, but that was kind of hard for both guys coming in short notice, a little bit other than known. David Tamer, the fight with Bobby Green was a great fight. Drakkar Klose, the one that really interested me though was the Drakkar Klose, because Klose isn't known for being a decent striker, I should say, but he outshone one of the wrestling guy and getting you down. He did get him down in the one occasion, but he more than held his own with Lando Vannata on his feet, and that was an eye opener for me. I think I bet Lando in that one. I was like, right, I'm not going back to the well with this guy anytime soon. But he has got an opponent here who's going to come forward, and he is open for some of the strikes that Lando Vannata throws. Just he's unorthodox striking. It's prime meat for Lando Vannata to get his teeth into. It really is. Frevola, he showed that in the fight with Polo Reyes, that if you just, at this level, you can't rush forward with your chin in the air and your hand down and expect to stay in your feet, because these guys are big strikers and they're at the top of their games. I just think the funkiness of Lando Vannata is going to show through in this fight from the get-go. Plus, to be fair to Lando as well, he's got a great chin. He takes a lot of strikes. He's got a lot of glaring weaknesses by having he's another one that drops his hands and his chin in there, and he takes it, but he takes a shot fairly well, and he takes the punishment fairly well. That needs to stop, because the longer that goes on, he's going to get knocked out viciously in the UFC. I just think that Lando is the far better striker here. He's got more tools. He should be the smarter fighter, but I've said that in the past with Lando Vannata, and he's turned out to be a bit of a wally with some of the stuff that he's done. I'm going to go Lando Vannata via knockout in the second.
Nice. Okay, next up is in the welterweight division. We have Ben Saunders welcoming back Lyman Good, who's, just had such a stop-start career for the past, 3 years, something like that, especially with the tainted supplements and all that goings on. But it's happening. Saunders, Good. How do you see this going down?
I was more interested in the first fight with Lyman Good and Sultan Aliyev. I thought that was going to be. I thought that had the opportunity to be a very, very close fight. Yeah. For me, I just think that Lyman Good, I don't think he's overly great, but I think he is a really solid fighter when he puts it all together. I think mentally, I don't think he's all there. That fight, I can't remember who it was against, but he went back to his corner and he's like saying stuff, and he was like scared to go back out there. Zalesko dos Santos. Because he hit so hard, and you could see he was getting broken down a little bit, and he lost that fight via split decision. That might have been the thing that actually kind of lost him the fight. But it's still something we don't really know all that too much about, because he's been in the UFC for 3 years and only fought twice, with his other win being a knockout over Andrew Craig, which was 2015 at least. Ben's there to be hit, though. Ben's there to be taken down, and he's there to be dominated by good grapplers. Now, I don't think that Lyman Good is the best grappler. I think he's probably just faced the best jiu-jitsu grappler he's ever going to face. There was a nice video of like Moraes showing Saunders how to get out of certain things, which was quite cool the last time. But he got whooped in that fight pretty much. He got took down, got dominated, got passed. Moraes knew where he could beat this guy easily and did so, took very little damage in doing so. Lyman Good has an advantage on the feet. He's got an advantage in the wrestling. Of course, you have to be careful with someone like Ben Saunders with his length, with his kind of dexterity, with his flexibility, with his jiu-jitsu and that. But I think that Lyman Good's fairly spot on for a win here. Whether he stops him's another thing. Saunders is always open for shots, but I like Lyman Good to win the fight.
Saunders only recently fought as well.
Yeah.
He fought back in end of September. Yeah. So that, for me, kind of raises eyebrows. I'm thinking, he didn't need to take this fight. He didn't need to come back. Is Saunders maybe find out his contract? Is he maybe just looking to finish that contract and maybe just finish in general? Because he knows himself he's not going to get that welterweight title shot. He's not got that in him. So other than just wanting to get paid, what do you do? What do you do it for? You only really do it because you want to be the best. If you're not doing it to be the best, you're in it for a payday. But Ben Saunders doesn't get the biggest paycheck. He's not a 500K kind of guy. So maybe Saunders is maybe looking to, rattle off those fights, get that contract done, off he goes, rides off into the sunset, ends his career, maybe just does grappling comps. He's a legit dude on the ground, I won't lie. Grappling comps, I think Ben Saunders will be a lot of fun to watch. I think Good is a hard hitter, you know. I think he's a solid guy. He'll take it what Ben can throw at him, because the fights always start standing, and I just don't know if Saunders can take what he can throw at him. And I think Good's going to land. I don't see much else. I don't see it going to the ground. I don't see it going for a battle on the ground. I think if Good's smart and wise enough, even if he does rock him, he doesn't chase him down. He lets him get back up. So he cracks him, drops him, just stands, go, look, get back up, let's keep it on the feet. Just keep going at him. So I'm going to go with Good. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to first round stoppage for Good. I think when Ben gets hit, you see what Ben does. He goes, chicken dance, legs go, and I think it's a first round stoppage, and I think Ben might, you know, I don't know. I'd love to know what his contract fights are left anyway. That's just an outside the octagon matter. And next up in the featherweight division, bro, we've got a super interesting bout here. Julio Arce against Sheymon Moraes. Man, this is an interesting fight because you've got two dudes who can hit really well. On the ground, I think Julio Arce is a nice little dude on the ground. He's a little ninja. Very good at getting the back. Like he's a good scrambler when it comes to the grappling side of things. Man, I'm looking forward to this on the feet. You know, I'm looking forward to the two of these two are going to they're going to share some punches here. They're going to take a few each. Man, this is the one fight in the card I'm kind of stuck on at the moment. I'm still torn. I'm like a 51-49. I'm definitely not only because I know that Sheymon can hit and he can offer some good explosive movements. He's a bit of a question mark, bit of an asterisk, so to speak, on when you fight him. I'll probably go with the more. I'm going to go safe. I'm going to go with Julio. I think Julio might be able to get it down to the ground and get a submission. Not overly confident. I think it's a tough one. I think it's going to be one of the fights that's is going to be one of the more entertaining fights on the card. I'm probably going to go with Arce. It's hard to pick this one. It's hard for me because I think Moraes is strong. He could probably stop Arce getting down. I think it's I'm going to go Arce. In fact, no, I'll go Arce decision because I don't know if you can get a sub. I'll go Arce decision, man. It's a horrible one to pick. I'm not overly confident on either one, if I'm honest.
It's a good fight. I think it's a fight. One of the fights on the card I'm really looking forward to because Arce's got. I think he's got a really clean record. His only losses are to Brian Kelleher, but he's got a very clean skill set. But I think that Sheymon Moraes is another guy that's got some very clean techniques as well. And he showed that last time out against Matt Sales. Matt Sales, I think, is going to be a sneaky guy to keep your eye on in the future. I think he's with Dominic Cruz at his side. I think he's a smart fighter. And towards the end of that fight, he started to put it on Sheymon Moraes. Moraes started that fight very well with nice counter leg kicks, nice counter striking, and was just faster. But he started to fade. And then that guy started his work ethic, and he was pushing the fight, and he was starting to push Moraes to his limit. And if that fight went on any longer, there was only going to be one winner. But Moraes had put 2 rounds in the bank, and the turn is set in, and he lost that round, but he won the fight convincingly. But Arce is a really good. He's just a good fighter everywhere. Actually, he's just a really good technical striker. He's got a beautiful. He's got some really nice jiu-jitsu, especially the rear naked choke. It's especially I've heard him talk about, like, he will always, if he finds a way to get on the ground, he will always try and find a way to the back more than anything else. And it showed with a lot of early wins in his career via rear naked choke. But Moraes he's a tough dude to fight. He really is. I think the first round's going to be huge in this fight. I think that Arce, if it goes 15 minutes, Arce will come on strong towards the end. I think right now I'd probably put him down to win the third round. The first 2 rounds are close. First round is huge. If Arce can come out and dictate how this fight goes, it's the quicker guys. I think it's a southpaw against an orthodox fighter. So that's always interesting viewing. I'm going to go Julio Arce via a decision, but I think it could be super close, and I think that Sheymon Moraes is a very live fight in this fight here. But I feel more confident picking Arce.
Nice, yeah, it is. It's horrible. That's the, like you say, the one fight in the whole card. I think is probably I think that's the toughest one to pick out of all of them. Especially when you watch. The annoying thing is, like we said before, the more footage you watch, somehow it gets harder. Like, I should have watched much more footage. Should have just picked like 2 fights max, and that's it. Next up is a rematch against someone who people don't know, Sijara Eubanks. She was meant to fight for the title on this card, and it all went wrong, and she got really up herself about it. You know, I've got to be honest with you. Don't like her attitude. I think she needs to sit down and know her place. You're 3-2, love. Calm down. All right, you're going to get whooped soon. Don't worry about it. You're fighting Roxanne Modafferi. Well, it's a fight that I've got to be honest with you. It's a pop the kettle on moment. Make some toast. Have a snack kind of thing. Come back if it's still on. It's still on. But what do you see on this one?
Like I say, I can see where Sijara's coming from. She really shouldn't have been in that fight, but to get that fight and get it taken away, and kind of the rewards and kind of things that come with it, she would get extra money from Reebok and this and that. And I can see why she was pissed, but the right decision was made. Let's make no doubt about it. The right decision was made to move that fight and put someone else in that spot. She's got herself a fight. It's someone she's beat before, so she's got to be super confident there. And she never won that fight. She pretty much dominated the vast majority of that fight. Modafferi is one of the most veteran girls we've ever had around in the sport, knocking on the door of 40 fights, and she seems to be in the best kind of spot she's ever been in her career. But I still don't think it's going to be too much. I think someone like the physical presence of Sijara Eubanks is just going to be a little bit too much. I think wherever the fight goes, that Sijara has the opportunity to get it back. If it was to go to the ground, then maybe someone like Roxanne with the more experience could maybe school her a little bit. But I just think that Sijara's going to be wanting to get on the mic at the end of this fight and putting herself out there for a title fight, and which she really shouldn't get, but she might get if she wins this one. I like Sijara Eubanks. I think she'll be up and. But I'll do the wrong win, honestly. But for me, I'm going to pick Sijara via decision.
You broke up there. We didn't hear what you said about Sijara there.
Sijara decision.
Yeah. I would like. Right. Okay. I'll make this comment after this break. That I kind of see Sijara as well. I don't. It's Roxanne Modafferi is now the kind of girl that the people who are meant to be in the higher rankings should be. You should, if you can't get past Roxanne, you're never going to probably be in that top echelon. You're never going to get to that like top 5. You know, you're never going to get there. Roxanne she's not a power puncher. She's not a super strong wrestler. She's not physically strong. She's got jiu-jitsu on her side. That is something that I can never, ever take away from her. She has got good jiu-jitsu, good setups for arm bars and triangles, all that good stuff. The reason why she's good at that is because she's often on her back if she gets taken out. When she gets taken down, and she's often in guard. So it's something she's had to learn to be good at. She's tough. That is what's got Roxanne to where she is. She somehow keeps taking a pounding in the face. Like, she keeps getting hit so often. Grow up. Sijara, look, she's not she's not a title material. She needs like 3-4 fights still, because I think it's not the fights that she needs, it's the development outside of that. You know, weight is a big thing as well. You know, consistently making the weight. You know, that's a big factor. But I think she needs to evolve. I think she needs time to grow. So I think, you know, training is a big factor. If you put her straight in against the winner of JJ or Stevchenko, flat out, she's going to get absolutely murked. There's no if, buts, or maybes. She's getting murked. And if she doesn't know that, she needs to know that. It's a reality check. You're not that good, right? You could be better. Don't get me wrong. You could grow and develop to be a lot better, but you're not that level. No chance. You're smoking crack if you believe that. I'm going to pick. I'm with you. I think Eubanks wins again. I'll probably go decision because Roxanne's just a tough cookie. And she knows she's a veteran who knows how to get through fights. You know, she knows how to get to that decision, even if she's not going. You know, she can avoid to take the knockouts if she needs to, etc. But I think I would do Eubanks and Cook again. You know, on the undercard of the JJ and Shevchenko bout. I don't know if Kukugan's got a fight booked. I think she might have. I might be.
Yeah.
I think. Oh gosh, yeah, Jessica. Yeah, darn it. See, I would have liked that, but I don't know what you do then. I think you give Eubanks another fight definitely before then. I'm not sure who, but even Joanne Calderwood maybe. But yeah, that's a fight to think about. But yeah, that's who I'll go for. Next up, we have the main event for the prelim card is Jason Knight against Jordan Rinaldi. It's gonna be a fun one. Look, it's Jason Knight. When Jason Knight's on a fight card, people, you tune in. There's a handful of guys who fight you will tune in for. Even Mike Perry. You know we're going to get Mike Perry. He's going to entertain. You tune in. Donald Cerrone, you tune in. Jason Knight is another one of those guys. He fights, you tune in. You know what he's going to do. He's 3 rounds, constant action, doesn't want to stall a fight, doesn't want to back up, doesn't want to delay anything. He's just go, go, go. Great human being. Great guy, awesome to talk to. We hung out with him in UFC Liverpool, where he got the questionable loss to Mr. Finland, which is questionable because just because you get someone down doesn't mean that you should win the round if you're not doing anything when you're on there. But anyway, let's not go into judging details and all that. But yeah, Jason Knight, I'm going to straight out here. Jason Knight wins this all day for me. I don't see too much in Jordan's arsenal or skill set on the striking. I don't think he's a better striker. I think Jason is a wicked striker. I think he's a dangerous dude on the feet. Even though Jason takes too many strikes, but there's something about Jason that he takes them to it kind of. It's like his he's like Chris Lieben. Chris Lieben was like, until I get punched, I'm not. I don't get going. And you're like, Jason's kind of like that. But I think on the ground, Jason Knight is a nightmare, and he showed that. He's shown that every time. If you get Jason Knight in his back, you're just not going to be offensive. You're going to be defending. Constant submission defense. He's so flexible, it's disgusting. I don't think he's got any ligaments. But I'm going to go with Jason Knight. I'm going to go Jason Knight with triangle submission because I think Jordan's going to try and jump and get him on his back because he's not going to like the stand up, and I think Jordan's going to like a panic takedown. And I'm going to go crazy. Jason Knight triangle. I'm going to go second round. Yeah, come on, I'll go crazy. Oh, by the way, Will is watching the NFL, folks. So if anyone wants to know, that is why he's looking away and shaking his head. It's probably because the Cardinals have done something wrong.
Yeah, San Francisco just got a touchdown, so it's like. And I've got, like I say, I say to John Elero, I've got money in this fight. I've got parlay, money in this fight, money in this game, and a parlay that 4 out of 6 teams, and probably Arizona. I should never bet my own team, but is what it is. Yeah, good fight. I think this is when I look at it, I think it's a fight that the UFC maybe. I mean, Jason Knight's lost 3 in a row, and that doesn't really give you many more opportunities in the kind of UFC. He could even been out somewhere else in the UFC in this one here. Albeit his losses are to. Benitez and Lamas I rate pretty highly. Americani I'm not a fan of at all. I think he's a bit of a dickhead. And I clearly thought that Jason Knight won that fight in Liverpool. I really did, and it was kind of weird because we were sat next to Jason Knight's brother for the fight, and that was a new experience in itself because you could see that it's not only just I know it's one fighter that's in there fighting, but it's like he brought his family. It's obviously been his family's come up with him with the fighting style, with the fights and everything. So that was like a new experience, and kind of sitting there and thinking about what his brother's going through, and we had to get him down into the cage side. We had to try and throw him a ticket so he could get down in side us. So that was fun, and it was kind of rough when he lost, because I definitely thought he won the fight, and but he moved on. He's got himself another opportunity. Jordan Rinaldi is a guy that I think is, when I look at it, I don't see many advantages over Jason Knight, being honest. But Jason Knight is a little bit kind of fragile in some aspects. There is places where you can get him, because he does fight so aggressive. And if you can fight smart and have a really good game plan, you can beat this guy. Plain and simple. Like the fact that Jason Knight's went out, he's left Mississippi, I think he went to Team Alpha Male for a bit. So he's doing a lot more grappling and stuff, and he is dangerous wherever the fight goes. Good striker, good jiu-jitsu. Jordan Rinaldi is a guy that I think he's a solid pro. He'll win fights wherever he goes, but I don't think he'll ever put a streak of wins together that's going to get his name out there. I think he's, especially in the UFC, is going to be like win one, lose one, win one, lose one. I mean, his win was over Alvaro Herrera, who's Abel Trujillo he lost to, who on his day can be very dangerous, and Gregor Gillespie is just an absolute machine. I like Jason Knight. I think he can knock him out. I think he can submit him. I'm going to go submission, so I think he's going to lock him up with a guillotine and put him to sleep.
Yeah, his guillotine game's good too. Main card now. It's middleweight season. Got 4 middleweight fights. How mental is that? And not one is for a title fight. And all these guys are kind of, pretty decent guys. So we're kicking off the card. It's Derek Brunson against Israel Adesanya. Will, there's a lot of this going on with these two. A lot of that. Finally, we get a bit of this. What's going to happen?
Yeah, this is a fight I'm looking forward to. I think Adesanya's got everything to be a really big star in the sport if he can put it all together. It's a big if whether he can put it all together. But what he's shown in the UFC, I was super impressed with his last fight. I bet Brad Tavares. I was very confident in Brad Tavares, and he shut down Brad Tavares for 5 rounds. Totally outclassed him. He's definitely got his feet underneath him in the UFC. I don't think we've seen anywhere near the capabilities what the guy's got, but I think this could be the fight that really pushes himself out there with someone like Derek Brunson, who's super aggressive, who comes forward, his chin's there to be hit, and against someone like Adesanya, who's got so many tools of it in his tool belt, and his techniques are so good. His jab's so good. His combinations, his positioning with it when he throws the strikes is so good that someone like Brunson, who's going to come straight at him, if he can just feint off and move to the side, he's going to catch him with a counter shot all night long. The one thing he can't do here is get his back put against the cage and have someone like Derek Brunson unloading or putting his hands on him looking for a takedown. Now, I think he's got enough to maybe stop takedowns and not get hit with shots, but that's where he can't be, because Brunson does throw everything into his strikes. One shot to hit him, and that could be it. But I think this is going to be the breakout fight that really pushes Adesanya out there. I think the Tavares fight was a genius fight from him personally. But I think against someone like Brunson, who I think he's got a little bit of tendency of a glass chin about him, Adesanya should be aggressive here. I think he should wait for his time when Brunson's coming forward and then catch him clean on the chin and knock him out. I think it's going to be a knockout, and I think a big bonus win for Israel Adesanya, the style bender.
I'm going first round Adesanya. I'm going to put it out there straight away. I think Brunson is all talk, and I don't think he's got the skill set required to have that talk, Look at this. Jacare, he fought Jacare, and he played a patient game against Jacare. Because he knew against Whittaker, he charged, he ran at him, he got countered. Jacare, he was patient, and then what did Jacare do? Because you were patient and sat on the back foot, he ended up putting you away. Jacare won with a head kick. What is going on? For me, Brunson, his best fight was, even though he lost it, was the Romero fight. You know, that was like a great battle. I love that fight. That's still one of my one of the enjoyable fights because those dudes absolutely battered each other, and it's Pugate as well. But look, Adesanya, man, like you said, that Tavares fight, god damn it. I was like you. Everyone was like, right, Tavares got this easy. Tavares legit solid dude. And like Adesanya just, man, it was child's play. You know, my only worry is a couple of times Adesanya rolls his shoulder with the punches, and they come over and they do connect a couple of times. I would like to see him maybe let them slip and actually miss a little bit better. Against Tavares, you know, he landed some great jabs in that fight. And like I said, he's got good quick hands. I think he's just gonna catch. I think he's going to catch Brunson on that chinny chin chin. Brunson's not an elite striker. He's an aggressive striker. You know, size and mass is what he uses to get the power to hurt people. I think Adesanya's going to catch him, you know, because Brunson can't just be back foot all the way in this fight because that's going to be terrible for him. Adesanya's going to pick him apart. So he's going to have to be aggressive. And that's when, like you say, mate, Adesanya can just finish him off. First round knockout I'm going for. Yeah, Adesanya's going to come on the microphone as he does and use smooth words. So get the beepers ready, yeah. UFC, bleep, 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 BT Sport, bleeping off that. Next up we have, I'm surprised it's this high up on the card, but you know it is. It's Karl Roberson against Mr. Jack Marshman. Welshman going over. Well, now Jack was meant to fight at welterweight. He had a little attempt, didn't quite go too well. The weight cut was a bit too much, and he's sticking down at middleweight. So I think it's a good decision to stay at middleweight. I think he looks in great shape for middleweight. He looks good condition. He looks a good size for it. He just fought Junior, who was just a massive welterweight and felt undersized probably in that fight and felt that. But he's a one-off guy. There's not a lot of guys he's like that freakishly big for middleweight. But this is a tough fight for Jack. Karl is a good fighter. I think Karl's got a lot of potential in the middleweight. He's not Adesanya flash. He's a fundamental kind of guy. You know, he's southpaw. He's got good striking, good wrestling. You know, he's a good fighter all round. I'm feeling for Jack. I think Jack needs to use footwork a lot. He needs to revert to his boxing. You know, he needs to go to his experiences boxing, a lot of footwork, angles all day. He cannot stand in front of Karl because that's when the takedowns are going to be open for Karl to get him down. He needs to just constantly move for 3 whole rounds, jab his face off. He has to jab him all day long, and every now and then, combination with the right and the left hook maybe, but just keep those straights, keep it on the straights. You can't let Karl grab him and get him down, because if he does, he's going to be on the ground for a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, Jack's legit on the ground. He's got submission victories under his record as well, but I think with the wrestling side that Karl has, it can nullify the submission game that Jack could offer. I don't know if Jack will be able to do it, because Jack's kind of got that mindset every now and then where he just likes to scrap, and he kind of gets him caught in fights where he just gets taken down. It's just like, Jack, you've got so much more. Get away, get away. I'm going to go with Karl because I think Karl's going to catch him and get him down. I don't think catch him like as in knock him out. I mean as in catch him with the grappling and just out grapple him. And it's just going to be there for him. And potentially get submission, but I think Jack should be able to get away with it because Karl's not the level of submission grappling that Junior is. So I'm going to go with a decision win for Karl, but I think it's going to be a nice 30-27 here because I just think Jack just can't help himself and just stay away.
Yeah. I like Roberson a lot in this fight, I'll be honest with you. I think that this line actually opened up where he was the underdog and he's got bet up into a massive favourite. So, but when I look at overall skill sets, I think that Roberson is he's very good in the clinch. I think he's got nice elbows. I think he's got really nice ground and pound. And I think he's got submission skills as well. I think he's the type of guy that we've seen someone like Cesar Ferreira, who beat him beforehand, got him down a couple of times, found a submission in the first round. That's the type of guys that are going to give someone like Karl Roberson problems. Who are like, Ferreira is massive, like huge. When I first seen him in Vegas, I think he was fighting at 155. Masvidal 170. He was fighting 170, and he was huge. I could not believe how big that guy was. And now he's obviously fighting at the weight class he really should. 185. Killed himself to make 170 was doing no good for him. And that showed in that fight. He's one of those guys. He's not dangerous, but he's just good in every facet of the game, and that showed. And he's got a lot more experience against better opponents probably than Roberson right now. Jack, I think he has to be very, very effective on the feet, and he has to be early. He has to get the respect early of Roberson, and just look to try and keep it on the feet. I think if he gets caught up in a clinch, he could get taken down. If he gets caught up in the clinch, like I think he could get caught with strikes as well. So it's like his boxing has to be on point. Anytime he engages, he has to kind of disengage, get himself back at distance, and try and work from there. I don't like it if it goes to clinch. I don't like if it goes to ground. I think eventually this is going to find a way to the ground, and I think that Roberson is going to submit. So, Karl Roberson for me via submission in the second round.
Okay, nice. Middleweight another middleweight bout again. David Branch is taking on Gerard Cannonier. Gerard going down to middleweight. You know, he said about it in his last fight. He was looking at that heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight. Dude is just trying to find a weight class. I think, in my personal opinion, folks, if you don't know what your weight class is when you get to the UFC, that is not a good sign. But what do you see in this fight coming up?
Yeah, I was actually really looking forward to David Branch and Jacare. I really was. I thought that was. I was going to. I'll be honest. I was going to bet David Branch as a big underdog in that one. But obviously Jacare got moved up into the co-main event slot, and Jared came in here. I think he already had a fight booked against Alessio Di Chirico in Argentina, and he's just moved it a couple of weeks forward. And interesting to see him at middleweight because, like I say, he was a big heavyweight. Well, not a big heavyweight, but he was a heavyweight. He was a chunky heavyweight. Then he moved down to 205, and he still really wasn't a big guy at 205. And he's moving down to 185 for the first time here. Nothing really stands out with him. I think he's just a solid professional. I mean, his last two losses are to the guys in the light heavyweight division who've got two of the best streaks in there outside of John Jones, who's probably always going to have the all-time streak in that division. But Blachowicz, but then he got knocked out viciously against Dominic Reyes. I don't think he's going to have to worry about that against David Branch here because he's not really known as a knockout guy, but he knocked out Thiago Santos, who everybody was giving like big amount of money to the bookies for him to knock him out. But he came out and he knocked him out in the first round. If I'm David Branch, I look to take this to the ground. I think he's got a big advantage on the ground with his grappling, with his jiu-jitsu. He's probably got enough to actually win on the feet as well. But I think if he wants to stop this fight, he needs to try and get it to the ground. I think at some point he will get it to the ground, and I think he'll find a submission. But Cannonier is always dangerous. I just think that David Branch is better.
Yeah. I think David Branch isn't even going to be oversized because David Branch fought at 205 as well, huge. Folks. So, yeah, he's a big middleweight as well. So, I don't think there's going to be much of an advantage for Gerard in this fight in size. Skill set, there is no skill set that Gerard's got that is better than David's. David is better in all facets of this fight. I think, like you said, the Alessio fight was a way more suitable fight for Gerard. Kudos to him stepping up and doing this fight. It was in somewhat short notice. So you've got to take your hat off for that. But at the same time, man, I just don't see where he can win. You know, I really don't. I think David Branch, like you say, I think I would get Gerard to the second or third round because I'd be like, let's see this weight cut. Let's see how this is feeling. Let's see how you look, man, because you're going to feel it. And I think Branch can just, like you say, first round, just a lot of energy, put them out, tire them out, keep the pace up nice and high. Then if something comes in the first round, absolutely take it. But I think get the second round, get him down, just put him. I think Branch going to probably choke him, get like a guillotine or a rear naked, probably more like rear naked choke. Definitely submission win. I'm going to go second, third round for Branch on that one. There's not much else to say on it. It's a pretty cut and shut bout there. Like we said, because there was a bit of a shuffle in the card because of Luke Rockhold messing things up for us. Damn it. I was actually looking forward to Weidman Rockhold. I legitimately was. So we've got, instead of co-main event, we have Chris Weidman against Jacare. My only big bugaboo is the surgery that Weidman's had on his thumb, which he had to have. He had to have it again, didn't he? He had it, and then he had to get the surgery again done or somehow, or had to get something corrected on it, which to me is a bit of a worry because I'm thinking, your hand's been out not for like a little while. It's been out for a while. That one hand, so to speak. So a lot of factors come into play. Like how quickly is the strength back to that original strength that you had in that hand with grappling, wrestling and stuff. He's not. I think he's fought 6 times in the last 4 years. 6 times in 4 years. That's bonkers. Before that, he was kicking ass and taking checks. He was murdering people. Like Chris Weidman was just, he was king of the world. 4 years, 6 fights. You got to take that into account. Jacare's just been keep kicking ass. He's been. I know he's lost a couple, but at the same time, Jacare, he's close, 38, 39, Jacare. Weidman's 34. This middleweight division's getting old with some dudes. And Jacare's shown his last fight he can knock people out. Man, I don't get me wrong. I think Weidman he's got great wrestling. He's got good grappling. Submission game, good submission game. Fight IQ is questionable with Chris Weidman. Definitely a questionable fight IQ on there. He's got to stay standing in this fight. He can't go to the ground, in my opinion. I think Jacare, if he gets Chris Weidman to the ground, can have a field day with it. I just think Jacare's that good at grappling. I think Jacare is a horrible guy to grapple with. I don't think there's anyone out there who thinks he's an easy day. And I think Weidman's got to keep it standing. I don't think Jacare can get Weidman down. I think the wrestling pedigree that Weidman has keeps it standing. So I want to say Jacare, but I'm going to pick. I think Jacare, if he gets to the ground, it's all day. But I'm going to go Weidman. Even though he's been out for a while, he's had the injuries. Wrestling doesn't leave him. He's been wrestling since he was a tiny little sperm. He's been doing it for so long. I don't think Jacare can offer any kind of grappling aspect that will shock him or surprise him or catch him. I think Weidman can use the footwork, use the wrestling to just keep it standing and just keep Jacare off him and just beat him with the standing. Looking at the Kelvin Gastelum fight, he looked really good in that fight. I'm going to go with Weidman decision. I think Weidman needs the 3 rounds under his belt as well, to be honest with you. He definitely doesn't want a quick finish. Weidman 3 round decision.
Yeah. It's a good fight. It's a fight I've always wanted to see, actually, is Weidman against Jacare. I thought it was a couple of years ago. It was one of the prime matchups to make in the middleweight division. But it's weird. They're both at kind of different parts of their career now. I think Jacare, I do like that he's went to this new companies in America and he's getting more looks with different guys. But you look at his losses and they're too... He's beating the guys he's supposed to beat. Derek Brunson, Tim Boach, Vitor Belfort, should always be beating those guys.
Yeah.
But when he's facing your Yoel Romero's, your Robert Whitakers, your Kelvin Gastelum, then he's losing those fights. I think the Gastelum fight was close. He could have won that one, personally.
It was a split decision, wasn't it?
It was a split, yeah. And he outstruck him. He got the takedown. So I can see why he was a little bit probably pissed at losing that fight. This one here, I think styles make fights. And I'm just like, how is he going to take... Is he going to... If he couldn't take Robert Whitaker down, who I think he's got great takedown defense, I think someone who is so ingrained in wrestling, like Chris Weidman, I think it's going to be hard to get him down. for me, I think as well, he has to get it done in the first round. I think he has to really start quick because I think he fades out. I think that Weidman will as well, but I think he will have more in the gas tank. Let's be honest, like he was getting ready for Luke Rockhold, that's probably one of the toughest fights that Weidman could probably ever have. So he's obviously been going hard. I think that Jacare is an easier fight, but still a very, very, very difficult fight. I just think that Chris Weidman's going to... I don't think he's going to be on his back. I don't think he's going to be on the ground. I think we're on the feet. I think it'll be close in the first. I think with Chris Weidman will start to take over 2 and 3, try and tie him up a little bit, work in the clinch, maybe get a takedown. But of course, you have to be super, super careful with Jacare because it doesn't take much for that guy to roll you around and he's in your guard or he's on top of you or whatever, and then you're in deep trouble with a guy like Jacare. But I'm going to go Chris Weidman to win a decision in this one here. But like I say, it's a good fight, a matchup I always wanted to see, just maybe a couple of years too late. But I like Chris Weidman in this spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Weidman just didn't have so many injuries, there's so much more fights we could have potentially had. It's such a shame. But main event now, championship fight, 4 weeks notice or something crazy. How Derrick Lewis is going to get passed via the commission is beyond me. But whatever, they're going to apparently somehow make it happen. Daniel Cormier, Derrick Lewis, they've just thrown it on to try and get pay-per-view buys, and I think they're going to really underestimate DC's draw numbers. Derrick Lewis had the 550 or 600,000 Instagram followers increase after his "My Balls Are Hot" kind of line that came out. So kudos to him on that side of things, and that's literally what the UFC are living off. You know, they're just riding that kind of momentum with marketing, and that's what it is to business, which is really, really frustrating. But bro, we've got DC Derrick Lewis. I think it's a quick breakdown, but what's your breakdown?
It's just the fight's obviously got put together very, very quickly. Lewis was obviously hurt in some aspect of that fight against Volkov with his eyes or his orbital or whatever. DC has come out and said his hands are still not fixed from, I think he had surgery or whatever, and his hands are just not in good nick right now. But I think it's fairly obvious what DC is going to want to do here. He's not going to want to stand with someone like Derrick Lewis because he knows that if you stand in there, all it takes is the tiniest little shot, and you could be waking up and you've already lost the fight. Derrick Lewis is weird because I don't think he's a great fighter. I really don't. But the guy has won 9 of his last 10 fights in the UFC. Not many people can say that. He's probably losing the majority of the fights, and then he seems to come back and then win the fights. But this is by far the best guy he's ever faced. DC is going to literally come in here and just try and grab his leg, run the limit of try and get a single leg and try and rip him down and get on top, pressure him and just wear out Derrick Lewis and look for a submission or ground and pound. I wouldn't be looking for ground and pound, honestly. I would be blanketing him and waiting for Derrick Lewis to move to his back and then submit him. We've seen that with DC in the past. He did that with Dan Henderson and so on. But we know that DC is hurt. He's not going to be thrown. I just can't see him standing in the pocket and even trying thinking trading with someone like Derrick Lewis. He's going to be trying to put him against the cage, get him down. I think once he gets him down there, I don't see Derrick Lewis getting back up. Could he maybe get a sweep or anything like that? I doubt it. But if he did, and he was to get like a mount position, then hell mend DC, because he could be in a lot of trouble there because that guy's got some hellacious ground and pound. Derrick Lewis is all heart, like literally all heart. Not much technique, big power. Like I say, he's not a great fighter, but the guy wins fights. So you cannot take it away, and I truly understand why he's jumping at it for this fight. I can see why DC's jumping in for this fight because I think it's potentially a very, very easy payday, but still very dangerous. So he has to be very careful. I just think the pressure is going to completely tire Derrick Lewis out. I don't see this going... If this fight goes any longer than 10 minutes, I'll be super, super surprised, personally. But I'm going to go DC via submission and probably round number 1, actually.
It's a fight where DC only has to do one thing, and that is circle to his right. If he circles to his right, he avoids the right hand of Derrick Lewis. And that is the only punch that's dangerous in Derrick Lewis. Derrick Lewis isn't a left hook guy. He's not a jab guy. He's not. He throws that right bomb, and that is it. If you circle to the right, that's how you beat Derrick Lewis. But some reason people just can't pull fight IQs, and that's a big factor. Derrick Lewis being so big as well is probably why a lot of people don't try to grapple with him. But DC has shown he grapples with any dude, any size. Not just UFC, Strikeforce as well. Didn't matter. Heavyweight guys, he would pick them up and throw them like they were lightweights. Absolutely bananas. I'm with you. He's going to just go in. He's probably going to circle to the right, shoot in for that single double leg, get Lewis down. And Lewis has talked in the past again. You talk about DC in his hands. Lewis talked in the past about his back. Wrestling is core, back strength, everything. Man, DC's got it. And if Derrick Lewis's back still isn't 100%, you're going to see a lot of pressure on it, a lot of problems caused with the kind of heavy weight that DC could put onto you and the pressure. Man, I don't see it going past. I'm with you. I reckon second round submission, because I reckon DC would just wrestle Lewis in the first. Lewis is just going to be like, well, get me out of here. I want to get my paycheck, go home, see my missus, and that's all. That's me done. I'm happy. Kudos to Derrick Lewis getting the paycheck. I've got nothing against the guy. He's not like, you imagine Derrick Lewis being a heavyweight champ. Like, imagine that, Derrick Lewis, heavyweight champ. That'd be bananas. He's just not got a great game. He's just like Cain Velasquez would be going absolutely ballistic at that idea. But I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, DC, easy paycheck in my opinion. Easiest paycheck he's going to get. Easiest one he's going to have. He could have. He should win second round. I'll go second round submission, rear naked choke. I think when Derrick Lewis is trying to get himself up, going on to all fours, DC jumps in, gets a choke in, happy days. And that's pretty much it. So that's 230 wrapped up, broken down and picked. But now we're going to go to Will's bets, because Will, there's some fights here where there is, there's parlays, there's, maybe like maybe prop bets. What any tips, advice people at home they could possibly go for?
I think it's another tough card for betting. Honestly, I've only got the one bet so far, and that's Burgos and Karl Roberson. I can't remember what it is. I think it's plus 126. I think I got plus money on, and I quite like that. But there's a couple of kind of props I'm looking at, like Adesanya by knockout or Adesanya in the distance.
What about DC sub?
Maybe DC sub or TKO maybe, because it's like I say, it's not going to go decision, but I think the odds will be fairly high on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough card. I don't see many underdogs winning. I think I had a couple early on that I quite liked, but once I moved on, there's going to be somebody that drops the ball. There always is. There's somebody that wins a fight that shouldn't win the fight. I'm just struggling to see where it's coming from in this one. But honestly, I think I'll have maybe 2 bets if I'm lucky, maybe 3 at most for this one, and see if I can just move on to the Denver card, and where I think there is better spots to cash bets personally. So I've only got the 1 bet so far, but I've seen a lot of people with big parlays, some of the bigger number guys, and just sitting below plus money. So I think that's the way to go. But different people see different things. There's prop guys out there. Like, I'm not a prop guy. I'm really bad with props. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's just hard how you see the fight, and then there's so many variances with different parts of the fight. So that's what I'm looking at right now.
Could maybe do Adesanya knockout and branch submission, something like that would be a prop parlay. They're just random ones out there.
Yeah, parlays are tough though, especially prop
Yeah.
parlays. That's why I'm not good at props, full stop. So doing it in a parlay, trying to get 2 of them at least is
That's a
just not on my
big
radar
ask.
really. Yeah, it's not on my radar really. I really don't add props to parlays that much. And saying that, I did that last night, and then of course I lost. T Edwards got knocked out. I had him by TKO and so on. But I liked that bet when I put it together, and then as the week went on, I was a little bit. But it is what it is. You can't really go back after that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going at with UFC 230 betting wise.
Nice. And look, any bets, folks, that you put them down below, or anything that cashes in, let us know as well. Update us. Any questions, throw them down. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for your continuous communication and kind of contact with us all. We love speaking to you all. Will, any last words before we sign off?
No, just enjoy the card. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And let's just try and see if we can push the numbers before the end of the year, and then we can maybe make ourselves a new target for 2019. But we'll be back next week for the 25th anniversary show in Denver, Colorado. Which
Frankie's out.
Yeah, I love the new fight more. I actually like the new fight more than the Frankie Edgar Kareem Zombie one. So that's going to be all types of fun. The co-main event's going to be all types of fun. But we'll be back next week to break that one down. But it's a really good card. We'll be back next week. Take care and enjoy UFC 230 next weekend.